a century, the .45 Auto has been praised as the ultimate man-stopper and dismissed as an outdated relic, depending on who you ask. But what if I told you there's more to this legendary round than meets the eye? Welcome back to Bolt vs. Lever. In this video, we'll talk about the hidden truth behind the .45 ACP, its history, its myths, and the secrets that make it a favorite among enthusiasts and professionals alike. Quick heads up, we're one of the very few gun channels here on YouTube with 100% human-made content. So if you're digging what we do, please help us out by hitting that like button and subscribing. Alright, let's get to it. Number 1. Origins. Contrary to what a lot of people claim, the .45 Auto wasn't just born out of necessity. It was forged through years of innovation, trial, and a bit of frustration. Online sources like Wikipedia oversimplify its origin story, claiming it was created solely to address the shortcomings of the .38 Long Colt during the Philippine-American War. While that conflict certainly exposed the weaknesses of existing military cartridges, the journey to the .45 ACP was far more complex and fascinating. In the late 19th century, U.S. troops found themselves in close-quarters combat with Moro warriors during the Philippine-American War. These warriors, often fueled by religious fervor and drugs, were unfazed by the smaller .38 caliber rounds, even after taking multiple hits. This led to the military reissuing older Colt single-action Army revolvers chambered in .45 Long Colt, which proved significantly more effective. While this quick fix helped, it wasn't a long-term solution for a modern military. By 1904, the U.S. government tasked Frankfurt Arsenal and private companies with developing a more powerful .45 caliber cartridge for semi-automatic pistols. Winchester repeating arms and Colt manufacturing quickly stepped up, introducing the .45 automatic Colt cartridge alongside the Colt Model 1905 pistol. This early version featured a 200-grain gilding metal bullet and a brass case, but the military wasn't entirely sold. Frankfurt Arsenal joined the race, redefining the cartridge with a heavier 230-grain copper-nickel bullet, resulting in the Cal .45 automatic pistol ball cartridge model of 1906. The evolution didn't stop there. In 1907, Union Metallic Cartridge Company created another variant, the .45 automatic Colt Government, based on the Frankfurt design but with slight case modifications. This led to a series of competitive trials between manufacturers that spanned several years. Each iteration of the cartridge addressed flaws, from extraction issues to bullet weight and case length adjustments. By 1908, both Union Metallic Cartridge Company and Winchester had finalized designs close to the modern .45 ACP, but the military continued testing to ensure reliability. The rigorous trials included endurance tests, such as firing thousands of rounds under extreme conditions. Finally, in 1911, the refined .45 ACP cartridge and the iconic Colt M1911 pistol were finally adopted, but we'll talk more about this perfect combo later. So really, the .45 ACP's development was far from being a quick response to battlefield failures. Rather, it was a decade-long journey of engineering excellence. Number 2. The FP-45 Liberator. During World War II, the .45 ACP found an unconventional role in the FP-45 Liberator, a single-shot pistol produced by the U.S. for resistance forces in Nazi-occupied territories. This ultra-simplistic pistol was designed to be mass-produced cheaply and quickly, with the idea that it could be airdropped to partisans. Chambered in .45 ACP, it offered significant stopping power in a compact, disposable package. Despite its utility, the Liberator saw limited distribution as logistical challenges and strategic priorities shifted. After the war, the majority of these pistols were destroyed. Many were melted down for scrap metal, while others were dumped into the sea. This large-scale destruction was due to the limited practicality and effectiveness of the Liberator, as well as the challenges in distributing it to resistance fighters. Today, surviving Liberators are rare and highly valued by collectors. Number 3. Military use. So, from 1911 to 1985, the .45 ACP reigned supreme as the U.S. military's standard sidearm cartridge. Chambered in the iconic M1911 pistol, designed by John Moses Browning, a genius among men, the M1911 wasn't just a firearm, it was a symbol of American grit. But in 1985, some bureaucrat bean counters decided to replace it with the 9mm NATO cartridge and the M9 pistol, citing standardization with NATO allies. Sure, the M9 holds more rounds, but let's be real, it's like swapping a Harley for a Vespa. The M1911, built like a tank, reliable, rugged, and chambered in the man-stopping .45 ACP. The M9, well, it's lighter and shoots smaller bullets. Oh, and did I mention that the M1911 was forged in the fires of history, serving in both World Wars, Korea and Vietnam? The M9's claim to fame is looking sleek and diehard. Despite the military shift, certain special operations units, including Marine Corps Force Recon and U.S. Army Delta Force, stuck with .45 ACP pistols like the M1911 and later the HK-45. Why? Because stopping power matters when you're up against more than paper targets. So yeah, the M9's cute and all, and I'll always love its exposed barrel aesthetic. But the M1911 is still the king of the hill, and every true gun lover knows it. Number 4. Silencer or suppressor. Contrary to popular belief, suppressors and silencers are not the same thing. The term silencer comes from Hiram Percy Maxim's original patent, but suppressor is more accurate. It doesn't make a gun silent, but it reduces noise and muzzle blast. Speaking of suppressors, the .45 ACP cartridge is a favorite among suppressor enthusiasts, and for good reason. Its standard rounds are inherently subsonic, typically clocking in at muzzle velocities around 830 to 900 feet per second, comfortably below the speed of sound, which, if you skipped physics class, is around 1100 feet per second, give or take. A subsonic bullet sidesteps the sharp sonic crack that supersonic projectiles produce, which makes them the best candidates for suppressed firearms. There's always a balancing act between bullet weight and velocity. Heavier bullets moving at lower velocities tend to perform better with suppressors compared to lighter, faster ones. This boils down to the physics of bullet momentum versus muzzle energy. Momentum, calculated as mass times velocity, enhances penetration and stability. In contrast, muzzle energy, factoring mass and the square of velocity, reflects impact force. Side note, this is the reason why the 300 Blackout is a hit among suppressor fans compared to the 5.56. The 300 BLK can handle heavier bullets, which naturally move slower. This slower speed means they stay below the sound barrier, avoiding that loud sonic boom when fired. Heavier bullets also pack more momentum, making them effective at shorter ranges. So, while the 5.56 might have the edge in long-distance shooting, the 300 BLK delivers solid performance up close, especially when paired with a suppressor. Going back to the .45 ACP, a 230-grain round traveling at a relatively slow 830 feet per second generates approximately 351.76 foot-pounds of energy and has a momentum of 27.27 foot-pounds a second. Meanwhile, a 115-grain supersonic 9mm round traveling at 1,200 feet per second produces about 367.64 foot-pounds of energy, but only 19.71 foot-pounds of momentum. Despite its slower speed and slightly slower energy, the .45 ACP's heavier bullet delivers significantly greater momentum. This higher momentum helps it maintain stability and penetrate deeper, which more than compensates for its lower kinetic energy. And because it's subsonic, it works great when paired with a suppressor for closer engagements where energy transfer and penetration are crucial. Number 5. non-existent armor penetration. The .45 ACP might be a fantastic caliber for suppressor use, but it's not perfect. One area where it falls short is armor penetration. Despite its hefty 230 grain bullet and substantial stopping power, the .45 ACP's relatively low velocity, around 830 feet per second, limits its ability to defeat modern body armor. Its large diameter further disperses its energy on impact, making it less effective against hard barriers. Most standard body armors are designed to withstand hits from typical handgun rounds like the .45 ACP, meaning this legendary caliber just doesn't cut it in this department. Now let's compare it to something fairer than a rifle round like the 5.56 NATO, the 22 TCM. This zippy little cartridge fires a much lighter 40 grain bullet but at an incredible velocity of 1,875 feet per second. While it generates slightly less energy at around 312 foot-pounds compared to the .45 ACP's 351, its high velocity and smaller diameter focuses that energy into a tighter impact area, greatly enhancing its penetration capabilities. It's why this little speed demon is known to punch through level 2 body armor, something the .45 ACP just can't pull off. Number 6. Ammo capacity trade-off. One of the key drawbacks of the .45 ACP is its size, both in diameter and length, compared to the 9mm. This means fewer rounds can fit in a magazine of the same size. Take the Glock 21 chambered in .45 ACP with its standard 13-round capacity versus the Glock 17 in 9mm, which holds 17 rounds. The difference becomes even more noticeable in compact carry guns. For example, the Springfield Armory XDS Mod 2, a single-stack pistol, offers 5+1 rounds of .45 ACP, but 7+1 rounds of 9mm. That's 2 extra rounds in the same size pistol. In competitive shooting, where every round can make a difference, the disparity really stands out. A 171.25mm magazine for a 2011 style handgun can hold up to 24 rounds of 9mm, but only about 18 rounds of .45 ACP. On average, for every round of .45 ACP, a similarly sized magazine could fit roughly 1.3 to 1.5 rounds of 9mm. That said, while the .45 ACP might lose out on capacity, its larger diameter doesn't need hollow points to create big wound channels. It delivers the advantage of stopping power straight out of the box. No fancy ammo required. Number 7. Power boost. Speaking of fancy ammo, the .45 ACP cartridge has seen numerous variants over the years, with +P overpressure loadings being particularly notable. These +P rounds are loaded to higher pressures than standard .45 ACP ammunition, resulting in increased muzzle velocity and energy. For instance, Buffalo Bore offers a .45 ACP +P load featuring a 160 grain Barnes TAC XP lead-free bullet that achieves an advertised velocity of 1,250 feet per second, generating approximately 573 foot-pounds of force at the muzzle. However, it's important to remember that not all firearms chambered for .45 ACP are rated to handle +P ammo. Using +P rounds in firearms not designed for higher pressures can lead to increased wear, potential malfunctions, or even damage to the firearm and to whoever's shooting it. Therefore, always consult your firearms manufacturer or owner's manual to ensure compatibility with +P ammunition. Additionally, while +P ammunition offers enhanced performance, it often comes with increased recoil. And speaking of, number 8. Heavy recoil. The .45 Auto often gets a bad rap for having a heavy recoil. But let's set the record straight. While it does kick, many shooters find it surprisingly manageable. This is partly because the .45 ACP operates at lower pressures and velocities compared to cartridges like the 10mm Auto or 357 Magnum. For instance, a typical .45 Auto bullet pushes a 230 grain bullet at around 830 feet per second, whereas a 10mm auto sends a 180 grain bullet flying at over 1200 feet per second. That extra speed translates to more recoil energy in your hands. Firearm design plays a huge role in how recoil feels. Guns with lower bore axis, meaning the barrel sits closer to your hand, tend to have less muzzle flip, making the recoil feel softer. Heavier pistols also help dampen the kick, as their mass absorbs more of the recoil energy. For example, the classic 1911, often chambered in .45 ACP, has a substantial weight that helps mellow out the felt recoil. Your shooting technique matters too. A solid grip and proper stance can make even stout recoil more controllable. By leaning into the shot and maintaining a firm hold, you can mitigate much of the backward force. So while the .45 ACP does have more recoil than, say, a 9mm, it's far from unmanageable. With the right gun and good form, many shooters find it to be a comfortable and controllable round. In the end, recoil perception is subjective. What feels like being kicked by a mule to you might feel like a gentle push to another. But with a bit of practice, the .45 ACP is not the beast it's sometimes made out to be. Number 9. Big bore derivatives. The .45 ACP has inspired several innovative cartridges, each building on its foundation to enhance performance or adapt to specific needs. For one, there's the 10mm. While not a direct descendant, the development of the 10mm auto owes some credit to the .45 ACP. Jeff Cooper's work with the Combat Service Pistol 80, aka CSP 80, a modified CZ75 originally chambered in .45 ACP, laid the conceptual groundwork for the 10mm. Introduced in the early 80s, the 10mm offered higher velocity and energy, appealing to shooters seeking superior ballistics. Then there's the 400 Corbon emerged, a .45 ACP case necked down to a .40 caliber with a 25-degree shoulder. This design boosted bullet velocity to mimic the performance of the 10mm auto while utilizing the .45 ACP platform, achieving speeds around 1400 feet per second with a 135 grain bullet. Similarly, the .451 Detonix Magnum is a high-pressure variant crafted to handle elevated loads, delivering Magnum-level performance for semi-automatic pistols by trimming down a .45 Winchester Magnum case. There's also the .45 Super, which took the .45 ACP's familiar dimensions and pushed the boundaries further by operating at higher pressures, delivering about 20% greater velocity than plus P loads. It remains compatible with some .45 ACP firearms, although modifications are typically advised to manage the increased stress. Then there's the .460 Roland, a cartridge that brings .44 Magnum-level performance to the semi-auto world. With pressures hitting up to 40,000 psi, it can launch a 230 grain bullet at a blistering 1,400 feet per second, matching the power of hot .44 Magnum loads fired from a 6-inch revolver. The kicker? It only works with certain modified .45 ACP pistols. But while there might not be a lot of those, there's one that stands out. The FNX 45 Tactical, chambered in .460 Roland. Think of it like a Desert Eagle in .44 Magnum, but sleeker, more compact, with a jaw-dropping 15-round capacity, 7 more than the Desert Eagle's measly 8 rounds. It's the perfect blend of brute force and tactical practicality. Sadly, that's all the time we have for today. The .45 ACP has proven its staying power with over a century of innovation, performance, and influence. But what's your take on this legendary round? I don't know about you, but I like it more than the 9mm or 40 S&W. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get a discussion going. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more of these videos. Thanks for watching.